In Chicago, they had many murders over the last week. Many. I'd love to do Chicago because Chicago's potentially a great city.
President Trump sounding off on violent crime in Chicago, but Democrat leaders in Illinois think the city's killing field's working out just fine. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor J.B. Pritzker turning down Trump's offer to send the National Guard to the Windy City, even after a bloody Juneteenth weekend that left 8 people dead and dozens more injured.
It's very clear that as it relates to community safety, that the President of the United States of America has done nothing to help secure safe communities across this country. He's done nothing to do that.
I don't think this man really knows much of anything about how to maintain public safety or public order, and the federal government ought to be helping our cities and our states to address their challenges, but the president shouldn't need a call in order to get that done.
But don't worry, Johnson has some hard-hitting solutions, like a $100 million Department of Gun Violence Prevention that's sure to put those vicious gangbangers on the straight and narrow. And that's not all. Johnson's also re-upping a trans femicide state of emergency this weekend. Amazing. It's been in place since 2024. And mind you, there were only 14 transgender killings in Chicago between 2016 and 2024. Kayleigh, is Brandon Johnson the worst mayor in America?
Yes, without question. I mean, he's driven Chicago into the ground. I mean, Mamdani may take the cake, but time is still young. I think he eventually will be tied with Brandon Johnson. For this man, for Brandon Johnson, to say that Trump has done nothing and the federal government has done nothing on crime, well, he's exactly wrong. Because you look at what the FBI has done in particular, and we don't focus on this enough. We focus on the bad news stories and the crime that's going on. What are the good news stories? Well, the FBI director, Kash Patel, last summer, we know that crime heats up in the summer. Look at Chicago as an example. Last summer, their Operation Summer Heat, 8,629 arrests, 2,281 firearms seized, 421 kilograms of fentanyl. It goes on, cocaine, 44,000 kilograms of that. That was all last summer. And then you look at what they've done with children. 2,900 arrested abusers. That's up 70% from the Biden era. They've identified or located 7,000 children, up 144% from the Biden era. That's after resolving 2 hostage situations across the state, from California all the way over to Cincinnati, Ohio, and arresting top fraudsters. And that was all in one summer's time and then a week's time for those latter data points. The Trump administration knows what they're doing on crime. Voters know it. That is why the Republican Party has a +14 advantage on crime over Democrats. That's according to the Washington Post, ABC. People recognize the good news happening and the bad news there in Chicago.
So D.C., Memphis, Jessica, I believe New Orleans, when Trump sends the guard in, crime drops like a rock. Well, why wouldn't Chicago just say, yeah, come over to the South Side?
There is a methodological problem here, and they are not going to be able to meet on this. I actually thought that I had gotten in some sort of time machine when I saw Trump's post, because he does this regularly, right? He wakes up and thinks like, oh, I'm going to do a thing about Chicago now, and I'm going to put this out. I'm going to do the thing about LA now. And J.B. Pritzker and Donald Trump don't get along, and that is not going to change. And so there will be no invitation for the National Guard. But there's a murder problem, of course. It is getting demonstrably better, and Donald Trump loves talking about that himself. So it just depends on the day. Chicago had the fewest murders last year since 1965. The rate's been cut in half since 2021. Violent crime down, robberies down 44% since 2022, shootings down 45% since 2022. Also, I didn't even know this was something that was tracked, but Illinois is number 3 in the country of the state to be a cop in. That's based on your income compared to police deaths. So there is a case to be made that things are getting demonstrably better over there. There's a case to be made that you still need to make progress. I think people should work together where they can. But if Donald Trump thinks that J.B. Pritzker is going to be begging for his help or inviting the National Guard in when court after court after court has been kicking the National Guard out of these states, it's just ludicrous.
Yeah, some of those numbers, Jessica, I mean, they're coming down from all-time highs under Joe Biden. So it sounds like a drop.
No, 2022, 2022, 2021.
Joe Biden
during the trends line all started under Joe Biden.
Who was president then?
I know. I also had since 1965. Who was president then?
I think it was Lyndon, but
Say thank you, Kash Patel.
Don't quote me on that. Dana.
So if I were to run for office, the only thing I would want to do is cross problems off my list. Okay, so and then you would triage it like in an emergency room. Like, what's the biggest problem I'm trying to solve right now? Well, there are too many murders in my city. Okay, how can I deal with that? And I have the President of the United States saying, I can help you with that. Now, let's say politically that's going to be a bridge too far for me. But I could say, sir, I can't do the National Guard, but I could really use some more FBI. Or could you send me some more marshals? Ask for something. Ask President Trump for something. He would probably give it. If you think you have a better idea, Mayor Johnson, to figure out how to help your city, then bring it up. Because President Trump would be likely to give it. If it's like, okay, fine, you don't think the National Guard, and let me try to help you. You mentioned D.C. Muriel Bowser, the mayor there, she decided not to run again. Politically, it was maybe a bridge too far for her, but she did the right thing. She said, okay, I'm going to work with President Trump and Jeanine Pirro and the FBI, and I'm going to try to figure out a way to get this situation under control in Washington, D.C. We have a lot of friends who live there. A lot of them are all like, thank goodness, it's so much better. And they're glad that they can walk by Union Station now without having to worry about themselves. The other thing I would say is that I had to look up what trans femicide was. It's the targeted killing of a transgender woman motivated by transphobic and misogynistic hatred. According to the New York Post, there was one domestic incident last year, and it was unrelated to trans status. It was something else. And so it is curious, like, who is writing the tweets for Brandon Johnson? If he's not doing it himself, is it the Human Rights Campaign? Like, if you are willing to talk to somebody on an issue that is arguably on the triage list at the bottom, then and not willing to talk to the federal government about helping your city. Imagine if you're in a Black neighborhood and you're a single mom and you're worried about your kid getting home from school, and you found out the mayor would rather talk about trans femicide than to ask the president for something that he needs.
Seriously. Greg?
Trans femicide. That is what he's calling the next emergency. Dana, if I am ever murdered, please label it brilliant hot dude aside.
Okay, got it.
Okay,
write that down.
I want it as specific as possible. No one in Chicago cares about Black kids and Black parents being murdered. The only reason why crime is down is because it couldn't get much higher. So there were 14 homicides, trans femicides from 2010 to 2024. Okay, in the same time frame, there were 6,000 total homicides. So the trans femicides was 0.24%. So you've already lost it on the numbers. The details on the known perps, the people who committed these crimes, were friends to the victims. They were either intimate or romantic relationships or involved in a sex work transaction. These were not random strangers committing bias-motivated attacks, which is what they want to implant in your brain. When you hear trans femicide, you're thinking, ugh, two white guys in MAGA hats waiting for a trans femme to walk down the street, and I'm going to beat them and put a noose around their neck. No, 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 no. Violence is always tied to disputes and transactions unmotivated by gender identity. So you have a woke mayor who's a fraud, throwing his own citizens, basically Black teenagers, under the bus to serve some kind of absurd hoax. And this is an absurd hoax. So you have to ask, what is the point? Why is he doing this? Why is he compromised? Like, why does this matter when you're talking about basically 50, 60 sex workers in Chicago? I counted volunteer work. You know, there's something going on here. And then you start thinking about, okay, Marie Lawton, the first elected trans politician in New Hampshire, Democrat. They loved her. She just went away for 35 years for the most grimmest pedophile charges. Her violent past was known by the Democrats, but they didn't want to play it up because she was going to be a historic first. Well, how come we don't know the names of the people that supported her? Where are all those female liberals that were cheering for her? I want to know every name of every person that backed her. Then there's the guy who tried to kill Justice Kavanaugh. Now he's a female defendant. After the fact, he's become a woman. Isn't that incredible? And you would just sit there and go, wow, isn't science great? In Portland right now, there's a murderer, a rapist, and a pedophile who's suing to allow admittance of all trans, including those 3 people I mentioned, into women's prison facilities. So what does this all sound like to you? What does it sound like?
Transfemicide.
Transfemicide. That's what it is.
Gross.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.